A day ago, April 22nd, 2025, there was a game that was released by the same developer that made this game called Mechabellum. And I wanted to talk about it simply because of the drastic changes they went from going from an auto battler, or like rather a wave based auto battler to where you have different units fight each other, to a literal card game that you use hands of different sizes and shapes and properties to attack other beings that have like shadows or manic episodes of like thought. It's mostly dream type stuff because essentially your character is dreaming. Game River went from Mechabellum to this, and essentially what this game is that you're some random guy with no name. You pick a portrait of different characters. I went with a guy with a really heavy duty looking chin. Not right now, this is the tutorial. Wanted to show this off first of how to actually play the game when you start getting into it more and more. With your hands, you have left and right. In the middle, you have a heart, and it looks like he's kind of trying to do like a heartbeat. In the left-hand side, you have a face, and that face is your portrait, but instead of eyes, nose, and mouth, it's actually hands that look like a nose, mouth, and eyes. And then you get to the hub world, and this is essentially when he wakes up into reality and talks about like his dream experiences or why he can't remember specific things, such as the entity's faces or maybe even somebody that he met in the dream itself. For example, when I meet Mania later, while Mania gives me different hands to use rather than just a normal bandage or like a normal left or right hand. This is where you would go and enter the actual dream world, and when you do leave, it does save the actual progress from what you're doing. Sometimes it might send you back a little bit. This is the map area, and you'll click on different areas that go depending upon the story mode that you're currently at. They have other different icons. Blue is essentially points of interest. They have green, which is a reward that you get for beating a boss, a leader, whatever. Then you have red, which is you have cross swords as normal battle, and skull, and I think even more so, is boss and elite. And then, of course, the actual combat. Which the way combat works is that you have the middle as the heart, then you have your left and right hand. The right and left hand can be dragged to get one of the items on the right hand side with the 3 attribute points that you have. You could pick from different ones that randomly pop up, but only 3 can be selected, like the ruler, the ping pong paddle, and the yellow cup. And of course they have their different properties there, like if you do the, I think yardstick does double damage if it's a frontline enemy. If it's a yellow cup, it does, I think, 1 or 2 damage to 3 different units, twice. Then you have the fountain pen that attacks twice and does 4 damage each. The way that it works with the back and the front is that the front has to be attacked first, unless the item that you have, like an ink pen bottle or maybe like an eraser, is an actual range attack, and you could bypass the front to hit them in the back. And if you destroy the back, or rather let them lose a single face, because like say for example on the bottom of the card they have 3 eyeballs, you have to destroy all the eyeballs in order for them to be completely destroyed and then move on to the next type of combat or whatever's next inside the story mode. But let's say you beat an elite or maybe even a small boss, it does give you some type of rare item or memory card, and either this will give you a powerful card to use or you'll be able to level up one of the 3 subconsciouses that you currently have, which is logic, mystery, and action, in which all 3 of these different types of characters, and I call them characters because that's what they look like, are with you through the entire time, telling you not to give up, continue down the path, try to find the item or whatever memory you're trying to seek. For example, we're trying to find the Ring of Dreams, which is essentially this thing that will allow you to cure your insanity or whatever problems are happening with the story. You'll meet other characters as well, like in this clearing, to where you're pulled in through a mirror and you meet Mania. Mania will give you different hands, and either you can cut off your one hand and heal, which is like a hand you don't need, or maybe your left or right hand, or you can get a new one that's a different one. Like for example, with my playthrough, I got a mechanical hand, and that would do 2 damage in a ranged attack without using any of the cards, or doesn't cost any attribute points. This is the mirror. When you get to the mirror, you'll unlock different things such as mouth, nose, or even eyes, and the different eyes and different nose and mouth has its own properties as well. For example, on the top right side you have flesh mouth, which is the default mouth. That gives you 3 healing on your actual heart. I think it's like every 3 turns, because it has a 3-turn cooldown. And then you have another one that does like a bypass of the actual front line, and it does 4 damage to the main back line of a card. So instead of attacking somebody for 4 damage in the front, it'd go all the way to the back and do 4 damage to them instead. I did have one little nitpick when it comes down to this, and it's probably because I'm not that far into the game, and that is the actual song. There isn't a different song playing, and I'm probably on maybe like the first or second level when it comes down to the game itself. At first as well, I thought it was a roguelike, but it's not. It's actually a storytelling type of card game, and I did kind of get used to that after maybe about another hour or 2 in. The game's full asking price is $18, but there's currently a 15% off sale, I think until May 5th, 2025. And personally, after getting it for about $16, I am recommending it because I think it's not only aesthetically pleasing, fun, and enjoyable to do the combat, but also the way the story is. And once again, I did talk about Draft of Darkness being kind of obscure, weird, talking about the darkness itself, the different mysteries and the different characters you meet. That's the same thing I'm getting when I play this game Out of Hands. So if you're looking for something unique and interesting and you want to try out a different card game, I'd say get Out of Hands an actual shot. And if you don't like it, you could always refund it off Steam before 2 hours or even 2 weeks. But I would say that a lot of people might actually like this. And for in terms of how far you could play until you get to the end, I'm not really sure. And I don't really care until I get there because, like I said, games like this are kind of a gem for me. You don't see them very often, but when you do and you start to play them, understand them a bit more, and see how they actually play, boy, is it absolutely fun. But that's all I got for this video when it comes down to Out of Hands. I haven't really got into the whole depth of feel of the entire game. Maybe there's a lot more than I haven't seen just yet. I've only put about maybe 2 to 3 hours into the game itself. And that was before I had to go into work and then afterwards put a little bit more time into the game. So when it comes down to it, if you want to pick something up, I'd say check out Out of Hands on Steam for $15 right now. But anyway, I've been One Nut Punch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later in the next one.